With us now, chairman of O'Leary Ventures and one of the sharks on Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary. Good to see you, sir. As always, are things as out of control as they seem, or is this somewhat of an invention of the media?
Well, no administration has ever tried to deal with 60 trade agreements simultaneously in one stack. That's the stack of friendly trading partners. And then the China stack has a lot to do with issues beyond just tariffs. We've got IP theft. We have no access to their markets. They're listing companies illegally on U.S. exchanges. There's a whole plethora of items, and Trump has given a list of what the administration wants to talk about. So it's all happening at the same time. But the market's starting to understand how this is working. We've got 17 deals, India, these people, all of these countries. I mean, India is a great example, 110% tariffs on completely, on cars shipped from the United States to India. Why is that fair? Why not either slam them with 110 or go to zero tariffs, which India suggested? So I like the fact they're working all that out. So you think about India, UK, which is outside of the EU itself, Switzerland outside of the EU, Canada, Mexico, and right there you got 72% of all trade. So that basket's getting worked on. The China thing is what the market's looking at, and that's getting interesting. Every hour there's new news. You know, Xi wants to save face. Everybody's doing a dance here, but this is going to get worked out because the U.S. is the largest consumer economy on earth. The Chinese want to keep these people in these factories making stuff. They're going to have to cut a deal with the U.S., and I think that's important. But while we're doing it, let's solve the problems with the World Trade Organization, the non-compliance for 20 years, the stuff that's going on NASDAQ and the New York Stock.
I hear all that, but you think about what the Chinese are doing beyond just economically. They're running torture camps and committing to genocide, much like the Nazis did in World War II. As you point, not only they're stealing our technology, they're stealing our military secrets, so they're copying the best of American military technology. If we ever get into a war with them, we'll basically be fighting against a lot of our own stuff. Their thuggery throughout Southeast Asia is certainly damaging the U.S. reputation as being a protector and enforcer of rules and not allowing that kind of belligerence. Is Donald Trump missing a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to really take the Chinese on?
No, I don't think so. That's the whole point.
So you think he's really actually holding strong here?
I think that when they get to the negotiating table, which will happen shortly, I believe, it won't be just let's talk reciprocal tariffs. It'll be all of the issues you just detailed. Those are on his list. This is not about Trump anymore. You know, there's a lot of people around the world, and I'm learning this the hard way, that have what I call Trump derangement syndrome. I can't stand talking about Trump when I'm trying to cut a deal in the Middle East or in Zurich or something. I don't care. But what I care about is policy. So we have to deal with policy. And this is an administration, because it's a collective, that's now going to work on solving a problem that not a single administration has dealt with in 20 years. So this litany of problems with China has to get dealt with, and I'm very happy to see that it's finally coming to a head. You may not like the volatility. I don't care. We got to get it resolved. I mean, I live on it in the fringe when I invest in small companies that do hundreds and hundreds of millions, if not billions, in R&D, and then get them ripped off in the way you just detailed. I'm not okay with that anymore.
Agreed.
I'm done with that. I'm one of those investors. I've had enough, and I have no way to solve the trade dispute. I can't litigate at the World Trade Organization. I can't litigate in Chinese courts, and they sue us in our own courts. Why is that okay? Why
I agree with you, but I guess, are you seeing enough of a backbone from Donald Trump on this that you have confidence that the pain that we're all going through, look, if there's pain for gain, fine. If there's pain for pain's sake, that's a fool's errand. Are you confident there's enough of a backbone with Donald Trump on this and about China that he's not going to get squishy?
I don't think he's going to get squishy. I don't think the policy is what matters. Trump is bombastic, says outrageous things, you know, sometimes contradicts himself day after day. I don't care about any of that. That's the derangement syndrome. I don't care at all. What I want is the outcome. And it looks like to me, for the first time, not only on the reciprocal negotiations going on with India and all the other countries we listed, but we're going to deal with China once and for all. Okay. And so That's good. I'm confident that we're gonna. This pain is worth it.
I agree with you. I agree with you. If we get something, if we get a real deal with China that the Chinese will ever live up to, I wonder whether they ever will. But that is a goal worth fighting for. Survey: Americans pessimistic of personal finances. 53% now say their own economic situation is getting worse. I put to you that it may not be their own economic situation is getting worse, but how they feel about the country. And it's not just the stock market, right? It's the housing market that we went through currently that is becoming extremely disjointed. It's how people feel about costs still staying high. It's how people feel about what's happening with Russia and Ukraine. There is this larger feeling of things being unsettled. And when people do that, they hold back. They don't buy as much. They get more worried. Does it become a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Well, we've been talking about that for 4 years, predicting the recession for 4 years, all through the pandemic, all through the volatility, and most recently in these tariff wars. Everybody keeps saying the same thing. Oh, my goodness, it's the end of the free world as we know it. I don't bet against America. I look at my tear sheets every Tuesday on 52 private companies in 11 sectors. Men and women running companies 5 to 500 employees. We don't see that yet. I don't see the recession yet. This tariff stuff is causing a lot of volatility in the markets, 1,000 up, 1,000 down. I get it. I understand why it's happening. But we're not in a recession yet. I don't buy that. And so, you know, jawboning yourself into a recession is one way to try.
Are we doing that, you think?
No, you know, the thing is, the consumer is still strong. Think about the Fed's dilemma when you talk about recession. If they really thought there was a recession coming, they'd be happy to cut rates. However, they have a dual mandate: full employment and 2% inflation. Inflation is more like 3 and something percent right now, and they don't know how long the China dance is going to go for, and employment's really good. Yeah. So, yeah, I understand pessimism. I understand gnashing of teeth and all that stuff. But this is the largest economy on earth, and it's just humming right now. And till the recent volatility because of the tariff wars, and we've detailed why there would be volatility already, it's doing very, very well. And it also consumes almost 39% of everything the world makes. So tell me why I would
Warren
take
Buffett,
my money and invest
I couldn't agree with you more. Warren Buffett's great line: never bet against America, right? Because if America goes out of business, we got a lot bigger problems. So I'm 100% with you. But I feel as though the Trump administration is doing something a little bit akin to what the Biden administration did, not acknowledging that Americans feel scared. We see the polling numbers. I don't believe polls lie. There were a lot of polls that predicted Donald Trump would win the election. Even those polls show there's a fear by Americans, a real fear of Americans in terms of how the economy is doing and at all foreign policy. How do people get reassured, and is Trump's course correction, at least so far, enough?
So foreign policy goes beyond just economics. And,
sure,
you know, obviously.
But do you understand why people are scared?
No, I do. I actually do. But if tomorrow morning you got an announcement out of either China or the White House that Xi is meeting with Trump somewhere on Earth to start trade discussions and start a narrative between the two economies, and the market went up 2,000 points, and then you took a poll, what would they say then? Nobody likes volatility. Nobody likes uncertainty. Nobody likes wars. And we have one in the Middle East. We've got certainly one in the Ukraine that hasn't been resolved yet. But the world's a volatile place. And these polls you're talking about, they haven't been accurate at all. I mean, I remember this narrative just before, 48 hours before the election. Wrong. It was all wrong. I mean, what I care about is the actual individual that makes a purchase decision every day buying one of my products or services because it solves a pain point. And they haven't slowed down yet. So I understand why we should be nervous, but I am not going to let anybody, any politician, any social media guru, any economic forecaster who have forecasted recessions for 4 years in a row and been wrong. They've just been wrong. They actually don't know. And so I'm not going to make any decisions based on what they think. I'm going to look at the tear sheets of what my customers think. And they're not as depressed as the press is putting them out to be.
That's
this is
important
America.
data.
It's the largest consumer economy on earth. And so far, I don't see a recession. Look, recessions come and go.
Look,
you know, so
I love
some
your
economists, woe is me, Trump's policies are going to wipe us out. What kind of crap is that? Why do they know something the rest of the market doesn't know? They don't know. They have no idea, and they've been wrong 4 years in a row. So I appreciate them. I think it's important that they have a narrative. I don't listen to it.
That's well said. I love the optimism. I love betting on American. Kevin O'Leary, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
You got it. Take care.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.